It is a Tuesday, so you know what that means. We're going to be joined by Basil Chapman. Basil Chapman is the author of the Opening Call newsletter. Of course, he's also the host of the Tiger Technicians Hour on at 10 a.m. Eastern Time, right here on TFNN. Basil, are you with us?
I am. How are you?
I'm doing well, Basil. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, thank you. I'm fascinated by this market. It's like the tide is slowly moving up, but very selectively. Even within sectors, some of the stocks are just not participating, and some are. And then you have a couple of leadership that just take over the story. So I'm looking at the Dow right now. The Dow's up 361, and it's so fascinating because we are so close. I think we need about another 20 points or more, just over 20 points, and then that pink 9-period moving average that I'm showing here on the daily chart will turn to green, and that to me will be a very important factor because it says that there's a good chance at that point that we should rally over the next few days going into May, and that would be really important. You've already got that action in the S&P and the QQQ and the even the Russell 2000. They've all had the 9-period moving average turn up. I'm just waiting for the Dow. We're all long the Dow, and it's acting pretty well. The day is young, and the month is young. Anything can happen between now and tomorrow at 4 o'clock. But as I'm looking at it, this is interesting because, you know, you said you're looking at steel, but I went through this the other day. Look, the steel sector, the SLX, that's a pretty darn good rally on the daily chart. When you look at the weekly, you say, oh, it's just back to the 200-period moving average. And if you look at the monthly, that is one wick of the month. When you go from the low, which is in the 52 area, and you go to where we are right now at 61. So that's what I'm saying, that this is a really mixed market. And you spoke about Nucor. Well, Nucor is doing very nicely today, but when you look at the weekly and the monthly, it is lagging badly. So I'll talk about what I'm anticipating and what we're doing and positions that we have when we return.
Basil, please, and also I would love to hear some more about steel too. So Basil, please stay right there, folks. I'll be right back with Basil Chapman after this break. Welcome back, everybody. Jacob Shoup, you're watching The Tom O'Brien Show. We are joined right now by Basil Chapman. Check out his newsletter, The Opening Call newsletter by Basil Chapman. If you do so, you additionally get access to some of his subscriber-only webinars. Most recent one we did was in November, 90-minute live webinar, and we might have something cooking up for you all in the future as well. Basil, before we went to the break, I mean, I kind of want to reiterate what you're saying. I mean, weird market. The tide definitely slowly coming in. I mean, I'm seeing you're looking at Bitcoin right now, and that was really, I mean, I don't know if you remember, and you're very, you have great observation skills, so maybe you did, but I mean, Bitcoin started turning before kind of the rest of this market did, you know? So
what I was looking at with Bitcoin, and we are long Bitcoin, what I was looking at is there's a technique that I developed a long time ago. Instead of just a one trend line, I make a little mini channel. Look at this channel here in Bitcoin. This is the Bitcoin continuous contract. Look at this green line and this pink line, this little narrow, it's basically like a little mini channel. What I'd said was, I call this the inside track repellent zone. As soon as it goes above it, there are certain factors that are very important to turn it into a propellant zone, which is exactly what happened. One of those is where you can see, let me see, I can look at the Tiger TV. Yep, I can see. Right there, where it turned green, that 9-period moving average, and look at the MACD strengthening, look at the stochastic strengthening, look at the blue on-balance volume, and that gave us a big burst to the upside. Now we're getting to the resistance that you had on the 3rd of March at 90, is that 96,600? Yes, 96,864. So what's interesting is, look how it's stalled right at this particular level on the left. So what I like is, if I have a particular symbol that I'm following, and it makes Chapman wave peak D's. In other words, it goes to 1, 2, 3, 4 higher peaks, which is A, B, C, D. D is the one. And then it pulls back and says, it likes that character. Therefore, I can anticipate it should do it again. That's number one. Number two is, if it's walking the 9-period moving average, this green line right here, I love that because that's it's like a springboard, and the black 14-period moving average, when it goes over the black, it turns green. When it's under, it goes pink. So this to me is really positive. So I like what's going on in Bitcoin. It's stalling here because it got to that left side resistance. The only way it's going to really push much higher is if it snaps through it. And probably I'd said earlier that I was anticipating 87,500 to 88,900 will probably be the breakout. Well, now we're at 96.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at this and saying, okay. And also, the dollar's weak. The euro's actually a little bit weak. Gold is digesting gains, as we spoke about before. So this is kind of an area, and the market is always looking for what it retreated best at. So in this case, I think so far, it seems like Bitcoin has a place here. So that's important.
Absolutely.
So to answer your question, I see this. It's gone from this this arch formation into a potential cup formation. And if it can break significantly into the 98,000 area, then I think 100 will be backing. And that means it'll be the place for money to go to in the shorter term. So that's why I was saying to you, the SLX, which I've been monitoring closely, we don't have a position in the SLX. I want to do, just didn't quite get in there because it's been gapping up. But it isn't a leg D. When you get to a peak D, but it's under a previous high, I always say, oops, I mean, that's good action, but I want to snap through the previous high in like a leg C to show real power. So this is saying, it's very interesting that in this environment, with every single economist rolling their eyes and saying tariffs are going to kill the market, steel, this is a deep cyclical, is holding well at this particular point. So that's why I like to say we've got to study the charts because they tell us a lot more than just reading the newspaper. So I like the steel. I like what they've done so far. To break to the new level, I think we need another burst, and that's the reason why I'm really focusing. So the Dow is the one that has a lot of deep cyclicals, not that many, but it has enough deep cyclicals. That's why I say if the Dow itself, the Dow 30, can really push higher in this time frame going into the close on Wednesday, and we never know what happens on the last day of a trading day, especially one as important as this. Totally. When you're looking at this long wick in the monthly charts for all of the key indices, we'll see if there's buying that goes into Thursday. And if that's the case, then I think I have to go one step at a time here. So we're very selective. It's interesting that the AIQ, which is the AI, this is the Global X Artificial Intelligence ETF, holding right here at the 200-period moving average, has come very nicely back from 31 to 36. And there was a lot of talk saying AI is that's years and years in the future. But have a look at this monthly chart. I'm impressed with the wick. So that's what I'm saying. So I'm trying to ignore the news. We have AIQ. We're trying to add to that. And something I think that's going to give us a good clue as to what happens going into Friday's close this week is Robinhood, which is stalling a little bit here at 48. Let's go to 49. But it's had a very nice move from 29. We've been long for quite some time from the 16s. But just in this particular instance, we've added to it. But it's going to be very important because you can't be blasé about it. I think money is coming in. I think the layperson's coming in. Yeah. But until I see the price action, and that would say that Robinhood trading at 49 right now, if it starts to trade by Thursday, it's already touched 52.5 to 53. That, I think, is going to be a big positive for me in terms of my looking at the market, trying to use this as a little bit of an index for the markets, like a bellwether, just putting your finger up into the wind. So that's going to be important. If it starts to slide under 44, that's a problem. So in a way, it's a little bit of a bellwether. And then, as I said, with the Bitcoin, so now you've had gold. Look how it's only down 14 points today, and it made that high just above 3,500. I still like it. We still have our position, core position in the physical gold. It trades exactly like this. I'm watching it closely because that 9-period moving average is so far away from the black 14-period moving average. Gold would have to slide under 3,200 to get that green to go pink, which would be very negative. So far, I'm treating this as a consolidation in an area that found tremendous favor. Definitely. Is somewhat overbought, but I don't actually see the selling coming in right now. If you look at the volume, the volume on-balance volume starting to pull back. but I'm looking at the price, and if the price is holding, to me, that's really important.
And really, the breadth that gold has been trading in, let's say the past 4 trading sessions, has narrowed as well.
It's really a perfect consolidation.
Absolutely.
It'll be unperfect if it goes a little bit longer sideways, because sideways would mean you've got to consider that there's some distribution going on.
Yeah.
I definitely want to see a pop to the 34.10 level, and it's at 33.33 right now. That would be, I can start to draw in that cup formation that I always like to draw, to say, well, now we can try for a double top. But we go one step at a time. So it's a fascinating market, because even the bank, we have Bank of America. I thought, we'd get out of Bank of America, as we usually do every year or so. We've in Bank of America, it runs sharply, then we get out of it, wait for it to slide, and we get back in. This time we've been in for the move up all the way to 48, double top, comes down, and it's still holding pretty well. Yeah. So I'm kind of impressed just in the bigger picture. If the financials can hold through the next, I have to say, it's the first part of May. You want to see that XLF, and that's the S&P Select Financial Spider Fund. I want to see, there's that same thing that we looked at with Bitcoin. You see the Chapman Wave inside track, repellent zone, except today, I believe it just started a leg D. It has to push away from this very sharply. The technicals have improved a lot. So if the financials can move towards from 48 into the 50 area by Friday, that'll be impressive. And not if it's under 46.
Basil, I wish we had like 4 more segments. Great as always. Looking at KRE too. I mean, KRE is held pretty well. Basil,
very nicely. That's the regional bank. Yes. That's very important. Basil, and IWM is holding quite nicely.
Absolutely. Well, listen, thank you so much. We'll see you tomorrow at 10, Basil.
Thank you very much, Jacob.
Take care.